student talk. So in looking at this data, is it aligned with the question for which you requested I collected data?
Yes.
And should we brainstorm new ideas for data collection for something else in the future?
Yes.
After this?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
And we'll talk about that. So what did you learn? What did you see? Because I know I sent you the observation checklist.
Yes.
For student talk versus teacher talk. And what this does is when teachers pose a question, it looks at how often the students talk versus how often the teacher talks. And are the students talking to each other in small group? Are they directly speaking to the teacher, or are they just talking to another student about the work? Not side conversation. We're all talking academics. So I want you to tell me what was my question? I have it right here. What about the data makes you happy?
All right, so looking at your observation and your list here, what about it makes me happy is that the students were actually answering questions, engaged, and they responded. They responded to the questions. So it doesn't look like there were anyone that was not really into the video, just out of it or bored from the looks of your data. So that's a good thing. That makes me happy.
And what are you going to continue doing?
So what I'm going to continue doing is, I like the Nearpod, mixing the question into the videos, giving it the pause breaks, giving them time to think about the question and then answer it, reflect on it before we go on to the next, before we continue the video. So that I'll continue to do.
All right. Is there anything about the data that you would like to address? Any opportunity areas?
Yes. So looking at the data, I noticed that I spend way more time talking than the students. So looking here, it says teacher talk 24 minutes, students talk 6 minutes. So I want to see, how do I fix that?
All right, and what would you like to see? Like, if you could have the perfect balance in your classroom of teacher talking and student talking, what would you like to see your numbers at and the student numbers in, like, what do we have, 45-minute period?
Maybe ideally, if we can do at least split it. If we can split it, I'll be happy, because then that shows that we're actually doing some type of back and forth conversing with each other.
All right, so you want at least 50-50.
Yes.
And you want
Unless we're doing group activities, then I prefer it to be at least maybe 30 and 70. They do most of the talking and use me as a source.
All right,
I would like that too.
So when you guys are doing your group whole class discussions, you want more 50-50 you versus them. And when they're in their activities, you want them to be speaking 70% of the time and you 30%.
Yes.
All right.
I would like that.
So based on that, we can discuss some next steps of action we should take to address the area of opportunity. So you want them to speak more. What could that look like, even with your Nearpod? Even with the Nearpod being presented and you presenting the questions, how could they speak more?
I was thinking maybe throwing some think, pair, shares. Could I do that with? I know I can do the think, pair, shares, but what about, like, if I do? Can they get up? Like, do they have to be seated doing a Nearpod?
Very good. It's your classroom. What do you want?
Yeah, I think that I like them to get up, because sometimes those videos do get a little boring, even like, especially for me, after watching them so many times throughout the day. Yeah, I like to see them get up and move around, and it's the end of the day. So,
all right. So a think, pair, share with movement. That would be a mix, pair, share, and I do have some materials I can share with you on that. And what that could look like with a video is students can answer the questions first on their Chromebook, and when they're done, they can stand up And I see you had timers, and they were on point with the timers. Like, they were done when time and everything, which was awesome. So once they are done typing, your time management would be for them to stand up. That way, say you have 10 seconds on the clock and everybody is done, you could go ahead and say, all right, find a partner with the same color shirt, maybe, as you to discuss this question. You can have partner A be the person to read the question, partner B answers, and then partner A answers. You can also do find somebody, well, it depends on how much time you want to spend. Shirts are easy because it's fast. You could do same height. You could do, I used to do soulmates, which are the sneakers, but it depends on the type of sneakers. You don't want, a kid in your class who has you're a sneaker person. So, you don't want the kid in the class with raggedy sneakers having to find somebody to match with, and all the kids are like, ugh. So just look around at their shoes to make sure, okay, we good. Nobody's gonna be like, I don't wanna be. But soulmates are pretty cool. They walk around, they look for the same type of shoe, same color, same style. You could also do same birthday month, anything. So anything to get them. Yep, and what that does is it also builds not only the academic, but it builds the class, the class culture. Because now it's like, oh, I didn't know you had the same birthday as me, or oh, look at us, I'm the quiet kid and you the popular kid, but we wear the same sneakers. What does that say, about us? Yeah. So that's a good opportunity. So I'm gonna put that in. So mixed pair shirt, you can show it. They can walk around, or they can even just talk to their shoulder partner.
Okay, I like that.
All right, so that's one. And how soon would you like to put that into play? When would you like me to come back to see that part?
What about Thursday? Thursday, what am I doing Thursday? I think Thursday will work. So I need to review.
That'll be good. Good, because I'm going to perfect. All right, so we have think, pair, share, and we want to turn it into a mixed pair share because you want to see them up. What other opportunities might there be to increase student talk or to improve your lesson?
So I read that article too.
Which article was that?
That is the Just Shut Up and Listen Expert Tells Teachers.
Oh, yeah, that article. What did you learn from that article? I shared it with many of you that I was coming to see, just to give you an idea.
So I like that they kind of put in there how students basically, or children period, they waste a lot of time playing video games. Like that's where their mind is. They have access to the computers and they just want to game. I like that the teacher in here, Professor Hattie, she uses games majority of the time to teach. And it seems to be working.
Okay.
So I want to try that.
All right, so you want to increase your game.
Yes.
For academic achievement. All right,
yes.
So incorporate.
Yes. I figure if we spend a lot of time monitoring what they're doing on the computer while we're teaching at the same time. So we're on light speed and we're seeing them playing the games, but if I'm actually incorporating a game into our learning, then
what are we going to see instead?
Yeah, maybe that will help some of my on-level students as well.
Yeah, it might help them to get a little more engaged in their
actual
learning.
lesson and learning. Yes.
All right, and what games are you currently using?
So the only thing I use now, I use Book It. I use Quizlet Live. I've done Number Heads Together. And we've done a thumbs up, thumbs down type of game.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, so Book It, Quizlet, Numbered Heads, and
the easy ones, the safe ones that I know.
Okay. All right, so let me think about this. Now, Jeopardy is kind of like a Numbered Heads, but they're working in teams. It's competitive. They do have things available where you can pull from, so you don't have to create your own. That one's a little more high level. Your advanced students would definitely feel the competition in there. Your on-level students might think it's too difficult because there's no multiple choice. It's just a question and they have to answer it.
Oh.
So that's one option. Some other options are having students create their own games out of the material. So say they play Monopoly and they love Monopoly and that's like their jam. They can create a game for Monopoly out of their, what are you guys doing, the amendments, out of the amendments, maybe somehow, whatever, because I'm not a Monopoly person, but they can do that. They can also create, I don't know if they do shoots and ladders, but comic strips sometimes can be kind of gamified if they're into that. Like if they're Spider-Man, you know, they follow that stuff, they can turn that into something. But and I'm gonna put this on my list. So for games, I would, just my recommendation, have students make games. They can also use Bookit or Quizlet or Kahoot to make their own games as well.
They always ask me about Kahoot. Is that?
Oh yeah,
Is
Kahoot
that free
is
for us?
just, yeah, and it's just like, I'll put Kahoot on there too. It's just like Bookit, and then there's also GimKit. I don't know if you're familiar with GimKit, and then there is Quizzes.
So Quizzes and Quizlet are not the same.
No, they're not. Good.
Oh.
I used to think they were too because of the Z's and how it was spelled. It just like they look the same word wise, but no, they're different. Quizlet is based off of like cards, like a lot of what is it called? Flashcards kind of deal.
Okay.
Where Quizzes is more similar to Bookit,